What is going on, everybody? I'm Duso, back again with another video. You guys probably noticed something different. Yes, I do have the bonnet on, and that is because the twists are gone. Twists are only gone for now. They'll be back very, very soon. But my twist or the bonnet is not what's important for today. In this video, we're going to be ranking all 30 teams based on tiers. All right, so here's the tier list. We have 4 categories right here, which I believe is 4 categories every single year in the NBA. You have your title contenders, your solidified playoff teams, the French playoff teams, and then you have the bottom feeders of the league. It's pretty self-explanatory. All 30 NBA teams, if you guys can't see, let me move my camera right there. You see the Warriors and the Celtics. Let's not waste some more time, man. Let's not waste some more time. Let's get right into it. I might start off hot here with the 76ers, but I believe they are title contenders. I mean, you have the runner-up in MVP in Joel Embiid. They added a superstar in James Harden, who I ranked as a top 10 player in this league. They've been making some moves in free agency, signing guys like PJ Tucker and Daniel House to build up that depth, add grit on the team, and improve the culture. You have the improvements of Tyrese Maxey. They made the trade for DeAnthony Melton to solidify that backup point guard position. I like to bag on the Sixers a lot because they've been a second-round team for the last 4 years. Maybe this is the year that changed it, man. Moving on to the Washington Wizards. They made a lot of moves, trading for Kristaps Porzingis. They traded Russell Westbrook for Kyle Kuzma, who blossomed. They re-signed Bradley Beal to a crazy deal. All of that, though, I do see them as French playoff playing teams. I understand the roster might not be the best, but you still have Bradley Beal, who's a 30-point-per-game scorer. Kristaps Porzingis was once an all-star. We'll see if he can tap back into that bag. Like I said, Kyle Kuzma had a great season from the last year. We'll see what he can do. So you have that big three. They made a trade to acquire Monty Morris and improve that point guard position because, like I say all the time, it was not good. Johnny Davis was their 10th overall pick. This is a good team. This is a good team. They might be able to slide up to the solidified playoff team depending on how injuries go and such like that. But for right now, I see them as a French playoff / play-in team. The Atlanta Hawks. I see them as a solidified playoff team. They made the trade to get DeJounte Murray, beefing up that backcourt with him and Trae Young. They can always make more moves to add more players and such like that. And they were just in the Eastern Conference Finals a year ago. So another year of development for certain guys. If DeAndre Hunt can stay healthy and if Trae Young and DeJounte Murray pair up well, I definitely see this team being a solidified playoff team. All right, this is where things get interesting. And this is probably where the first argument will start. I have my Cleveland Cavaliers, and I think they're a solidified playoff team, man. People tend to forget, but last year, before all the injuries derailed their season, they were as high as the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. Darius Garland blossomed into an all-star. Jared Allen got his first all-star nod. Evan Mobley was the runner-up for Rookie of the Year. You got to think DG is going to have another year of progression. Evan Mobley's going to have another year of progression. Jared Allen's going to have another year of progression. That's kind of their big three. They should look to bring back Colin Sexton, and I believe they will. That's another 20-point-per-game scorer. They have a great culture, man. The team has a lot of grit on it. It's a top defensive team, and the offensive pieces are coming together. Considering what they were last year, my hope is that they would be a top 5, top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. Detroit Pistons. Okay, this one might surprise some people, but I do see them as a French playoff playing team. I believe the Pistons will make a similar jump that the Cleveland Cavaliers made this season. You got your number 1 guy in Cade Cunningham. They drafted Jaden Ivey 5th overall, and they still have a boatload of cap to spend in this year's free agency. DeAndre Ayton is still out there. Maybe they throw a bag at him. We got to see what they do, but I like Dwayne Casey as a coach. He brings that grit on the team. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on them, which they really shouldn't be. This is going to be a good team next year. All right, the Pacers, I have them as bottom feeders. They already made a trade to get rid of Malcolm Brogdon. I could see guys like Buddy Hield and Miles Turner follow suit. Moving on to Bucks, easy title contenders. Not really much to say. They won the championship a year ago. And honestly, in my opinion, they would have went back-to-back if Chris Middleton hadn't got injured against the Celtics. The Raptors, I have them as a solidified playoff team. They essentially ran a 5-man lineup last year for the entire year. In the second half of that year, they were great. They dealt with injuries early on, but I think they'll be good. I don't really think guys like Fred VanVleet will have the season that they have, considering Scotty Barnes' progression and OG Anunoby's progression, but that's okay. You still got Pascal Siakam, who's an all-NBA player. Nick Nurse, who's an offensive genius. They'll be great. They'll be good. Another team that I expect to be in the top 5, top 6 range. The Dallas Mavericks, another solidified playoff team. I want to make them title contenders because if you have a player of Luka's caliber, you should be. Christian Wood isn't really a player that puts you over the hump. They lost Jalen Brunson to the New York Knicks this offseason and don't have anybody to replace his production. Luka is going to be Luka, but it's about the rest of the team, and I'm not really confident in that. The Denver Nuggets, I have them as title contenders. Jamal Murray is going to be back from injury. Michael Porter Jr. is going to be back from injury. If they can play how they played before their injuries, this is a title contending team. The Memphis Grizzlies, don't kill me for this. I understand they were the 2nd team in the Western Conference, but I only see them as a solidified playoff team. I just still don't believe they're there yet. The Minnesota Timberwolves, I mean, they kind of have to be a solidified playoff team now. San Antonio Spurs, bottom feeders. They traded away DeJounte Murray. It's obvious they want to tank. Utah Jazz, I have them as French playoff teams. This might be a year where they take a step back and then try to rejuvenate themselves for the following season. The Clippers, this team is title contenders. I mean, you have Kawhi Leonard, you have Paul George, and what I believe to be the deepest roster in the NBA. Phoenix Suns, I might turn some heads here. I think they're a solidified playoff team too. They got battered in a game 7 against the Dallas Mavericks, and they made no improvements to their roster. But like, that's their own fault. They were the ones that were hesitant in this free agency, in the draft. So moving on to Portland Trailblazers, French playoff teams. The Trailblazers are probably the most confusing team in the NBA because they said they wanted to retool the roster around Damian Lillard. But does retooling the roster really only consist of trading for Jeremy Grant? The success of this season really depends on Anthony Simon's progression and what you get out of Shaedon Sharpe. Sacramento Kings, I do see them as a fringe playoff / play-in team. I mean, you make the trade for Domantas Sabonis. He gets another year to gel with that roster. De'Aaron Fox, you have Davion Mitchell, who you drafted 9th overall just a year ago. And you spent the 4th overall pick on Keegan Murray. This is a solid roster, man. It just depends on if they still have that bad juju that Sacramento has had for the last 15 years. The New York Knicks, I want to say they'll be French playoff / play-in teams just because I think they'll be better this year. I understand Julius Randle had a very poor season, but I think he'll improve next year. RJ Barrett is going to continue to progress. You signed Jalen Brunson to a $100 million contract, so you better hope that he's good for you. The New Orleans Pelicans. Okay, I'm going to give a hot take right here. I believe the Pelicans are title contenders. Let me explain. So before Zion went out with injury, he was a 27-7-4 guy in his 2nd season. Brandon Ingram is one of the best wing players in the entire NBA. He's a 23, 24, 25 point per game guy, and he had a very, very, very great playoff series against the Phoenix Suns. They added CJ McCollum last year. That's another 22 point per game scorer. They got a great roster, man. It's a lot of youth. It's a lot of veteran leadership there, and Willie Green is an excellent coach. I believe they can make a jump similar to what the Phoenix Suns were able to do 2 seasons ago. It's really dependent on Zion, and truthfully, I believe he'll be back and he'll be better than ever. The Charlotte Hornets, I'm going to say they're going to be bottom feeders. The Hornets have been the 10th seed for back-to-back seasons. They made no improvements to the roster. And with Miles Bridges, it looks like they want nothing to do with him. So you lose out on him. So it's like, what's really going to change for you if you're Charlotte? Another bottom feeder team, the Houston Rockets. They're very young. I think they'll look to tank another year. Miami Heat are another team that I can see as title contenders. I mean, they were 1 game away from the finals last year. Chicago Bulls, solidified playoff team. We still don't know what's really happening with Lonzo. They said that he hasn't really made the progressions that they hoped he would. But besides him, you still got Zach LaVine, you still got DeMar. When you got 2 prolific scorers of that capacity, you're going to be a playoff team. Brooklyn Nets, title contenders. Honestly think that whatever's going on with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant will get solidified. It will get fixed. Oklahoma City Thunder, I see them as bottom feeders. Warriors, Celtics, I'm going to group them together. 2 teams in the finals. The Warriors lost some pieces, but they'll be able to replace their production. And the Celtics were 2 games away from winning NBA Finals and added Malcolm Brogdon for essentially nothing. The Lakers, I understand how crazy it's been for them over the last 2 or 3 seasons, but any LeBron James-led team is still a title contender. And the last team on this list is the Orlando Magic. They'll be bottom feeders. With that, guys, this is my list. Please let me know what you guys would change. What are some teams you bump up? What are some teams you bump down? I feel like it was a pretty solid list, but you can let me know down below in the comments. With that though, guys, it's been another video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you are new. We are on the road to 200 subscribers. I want to see if I can hit that before the end of the year. Thank you guys so much for all the support. The bond will probably last another video, maybe 2. I'm going to catch you guys. Y'all have a good one, man. Peace.